Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this is a quick preview and prediction for Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas. This fight goes down on the 21st of August, and of course originally it was supposed to be Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr., but Errol Spence Jr. pulled out with an alleged torn retina. So here we are, late replacement, we have Yordenis Ugas versus Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, very disappointed as a boxing fan. I was thoroughly looking forward to Pacquiao versus Spence, but, you know, glass half full, at least Manny Pacquiao still fighting, and he's still fighting a good opponent, in my opinion. I see Yordenis Ugas as a genuine top 10 welterweight. Not top 5, but a genuine top 10 welterweight. And he's got the WBA welterweight title, which was stripped from Manny Pacquiao not so long ago. So Manny Pacquiao can reclaim that title in this fight. So yeah, all in all, you know, I was pumped for Spence versus Pacquiao. However, I'm still excited to see Pacquiao fight, you know. And ultimately, we're at that stage of his career now where we just need to enjoy him while he's here. So yeah, in a glass half full approach, I do like this fight and I am looking forward to it. And the good thing as well, Yordenis Ugas was actually going to fight on this card anyway. So he's been training, he's fit, he's ready to go. So as late replacements go, it's one of the better ones you're going to get. So no complaints from me in regards to the opponent change. But let's briefly break down the tale of the tape. We shall start with the legend. Manny Pacquiao has an incredible record of 62 wins, 7 defeats, 2 draws, 39 of those 62 wins coming by way of knockout. Yordenis Ugas has a record of 26 wins, 4 defeats, 0 draws, 12 of those 26 wins coming by way of knockout. So obviously Manny Pacquiao is vastly more experienced, vastly more proven, etc, etc. That doesn't need to be said really. Manny Pacquiao is listed as 5'5.5" with a 67-inch reach, whereas Yordenis Ugas is listed as 5'9" with a 69-inch reach. So Yordenis Ugas has a 3.5-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. So Ugas is the taller, longer man, and not only that, he is just the heavier man in general. He's a much bigger welterweight in comparison to Manny Pacquiao. Yordenis Ugas is actually quite a big welterweight, in all honesty, so physically, Yordenis Ugas does have some advantages here. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old, which is incredible for a welterweight to still be at this level, and Yordenis Ugas is no spring chicken himself, he's 35 years old. Manny Pacquiao obviously a southpaw, Yordenis Ugas is an orthodox fighter. So that is the tale of the tape out of the way. Let's briefly break down what I believe each guy should do to stand the best chance of winning, and at the end of the video I will make my official prediction. I guess we shall start with the underdog, Yordenis Ugas. Now in this fight, Yordenis Ugas, as I said in the tale of the tape, he is the younger man. On paper he should be the fresher man, and he's certainly the bigger man in there. It's up to Yordenis Ugas to try and really make that count in this fight. Yordenis Ugas, for my estimation, is a well-rounded fighter. He can box on the outside, he can fight at mid-range, and he can handle himself on the inside. He's pretty versatile, in my opinion. He's one of those guys who does everything to a good standard, but nothing outstanding. He's just pretty well-rounded, Yordenis Ugas. But I think Ugas is at his best, not when he's trying to box and move and keep a guy at arm's length. I actually personally think Ugas is best when he's being a bit more authoritative in his approach, a bit more aggressive. And, you know, when you look at his career so far, to me that's when his best performances have come. When he knocked out Ray Robinson, which certainly was a good result. When he beat up Omar Figueroa, you know, I think when he's aggressive, that's when he's at his best. You know, he almost like plays, I guess you would say, like a come forward boxer puncher kind of thing. I mean, even look at the fight with what's the dude's name? Thomas Delorme. He started that fight super aggressively and he had a lot of success early on in that fight. But yeah, I think in this fight, Yordenis Ugas needs to approach this in an aggressive manner, and he needs to try and get on top of Manny Pacquiao and ultimately test those old bones, test those old legs. I think bodywork for Yordenis Ugas in this fight will be vital if he's to get a victory. He needs to invest in that body as much as he can, you know. And yeah, he needs to come forwards behind that tight guard like he can do, fire that straight jab, which is a pretty good jab, and try and walk Manny Pacquiao down behind the high guard, and basically try and wear Manny Pacquiao down. If you get him in the clinch, try and rough him up, try and impose your size advantage, work up close, really try and make it a rough, tough fight for Manny Pacquiao. For me personally, I don't believe Yordenis Ugas can be too passive in this fight and try and box it at range and keep on the back foot, keep Pacquiao at distance. I can't really see that working in this fight. Even at 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao has a speed advantage over Yordenis Ugas, both in hand speed and foot speed, and Ugas doesn't have the quickest feet in the world, so him boxing on the back foot, to me, I just don't see it working against Manny Pacquiao. I don't think Ugas is quick enough. I don't believe he's got enough volume, to be honest, and I could see Manny Pacquiao in that instance just getting in and out, landing his shit, and basically continuing to reset, get in and out, and win on points. I just don't see Ugas winning this fight on points boxing from range, unless Pacquiao is completely spent and he can't close the distance and his output's not what it was. I can't see Ugas winning the fight that way. So, you know, for me, Ugas needs to play the boxer-puncher. He needs to be, again, utilising that nice tight guard, coming in behind the jab, trying to force Manny Pacquiao against the ropes, working the body, and essentially roughing up Manny Pacquiao. So yeah, for me, Ugas needs to be the aggressive boxer-puncher in this fight. And obviously, Ugas is also a pretty good counter-puncher. Don't abandon that sort of thing, you know. If you can draw the lead of Manny Pacquiao, maybe throw a couple of feints, try and draw him in and nail him with a straight right hand down the pipe. You know, he can try things like that as well, but ultimately, to me, it's up to Yordenis Ugas to be the aggressor in this fight, and he needs to get Manny Pacquiao's respect and make it a hard fight. If he can't get Manny's respect and he can't make it a hard, grueling fight, I don't believe Yordenis Ugas has the foot speed, hand speed, and quite frankly, boxing ability to beat Manny Pacquiao on points. So for me, the game plan for Yordenis Ugas is quite straightforward, to be honest. Ugas can outbox certain guys in the division, but I don't believe he can do it against the elite like Manny Pacquiao, so he'll need to switch things up in this fight. The way he fought Abel Ramos, you know, very passive, it's not going to be enough. We saw how Ugas struggled down the stretch in that fight and actually got badly hurt. That's against Abel Ramos, so being passive against Manny Pacquiao, he's just going to invite him to land his stuff, and who knows, maybe Ugas could get hurt in the process as well. So yeah, to me, the plan for Ugas is relatively simple. As for Manny Pacquiao, ultimately for me, you know, if Manny Pacquiao has, you know, 70% of what he had against Keith Thurman, he should win this fight relatively comfortably. As I mentioned earlier, faster feet, faster hands than Yordenis Ugas, far more dynamic. I'd say he still hits harder than Yordenis Ugas. He's got a better boxing brain, and all around he's just a better fighter as well. Manny Pacquiao, apart from the physical disadvantages, is better than Yordenis Ugas in pretty much every way. So, you know, providing Manny's at his best, he should win this fight comfortably. But nevertheless, in this bout, you know, the legs could be important depending on which way Yordenis Ugas fights. I was hearing quite a lot about Pacquiao's training for Spence, and apparently they was working a lot on his legs to be able to move for 12 rounds. I'd imagine against Spence, that was to basically try and get in and out and keep Spence at a distance, keep him turning. So, you know, hopefully his legs going into this fight are very strong. But unlike Spence, I think Pacquiao might actually have to be a bit more aggressive in this fight. I've got a feeling Ugas will actually try to box passive in this fight. So it's up to Manny Pacquiao to close the distance in quick and efficient manner, land those combinations and get out kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, Manny needs to ultimately try and draw the lead of the boxer-puncher, slip under, and maybe lead with that right hook. We saw that against Ricky Hatton, and it worked a treat in that fight. I'd like to see that come back into play in this fight. We also saw it against Keith Thurman when he dropped Thurman with that lead right hook as well. Another area for Manny Pacquiao in this fight, an area where I've always felt Manny Pacquiao has been criminally underrated, and I've actually noticed it a lot more in recent fights. He seems to be working the body a little bit more, whether it be the standard right hook to the body, or in my opinion, his best body shot, the lead straight left to the body. Against Yordenis Ugas, a guy who actually utilises quite a nice tight guard, I think the straight left to the body could be very effective against Yordenis Ugas. I'm talking about like the navel area. I think that's a great target for Manny Pacquiao in this fight. So basically I'm saying he should aim it at the bottom of Ugas's high guard, so under the elbows, where his elbows would be aimed at straight left of the body, under the high guard. Maybe feint upstairs with a jab and come down the middle to the body with a straight left hand. And I think that's another key area in this fight is the jab for Manny Pacquiao. One thing about Yordenis Ugas is he doesn't really give you too much to work with when he's being passive. He doesn't really bite on much. So Manny might need to be a bit more creative with his setup game in this fight. He's got it in his locker. So utilising the jab and then feinting off that jab, doubling the jab up, getting creative with the jab will actually pose him a lot of success in my opinion. I believe it will actually open up Yordenis Ugas, and at that point Manny Pacquiao can counter with his own shots. But I think the jab in this fight for Manny Pacquiao is going to be very important. Jabbing to body and head, doubling the jab up, and feinting off that jab, just to try and get some looks out of Yordenis Ugas and some movement out of Ugas. Because like I said, if you're not forcing Ugas to do anything and he's in boxing mode, he's not really going to give you much. He's a really well put together technical fighter, doesn't take too many risks when he's in boxer mode. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, again, for me, this fight, providing Manny Pacquiao is anywhere close to where he was against Keith Thurman, he should win this fight. But at 42 years old, 2 years out of the ring, long hard career, outside of the ring responsibilities as well, eventually the wheels have to fall off. And if they do in this fight, Yordenis Ugas definitely has a chance at the end of the day. The wheels have to fall off at some point. I hope it's not this fight, to be honest. I'd like to see Manny Pacquiao win. That's nothing against Yordenis Ugas. I actually quite like him. I quite rate him, but Manny Pacquiao's one of my favourite fighters, so I'd rather see Manny Pacquiao win, to tell you the truth. And I think he will do. My official pick in this fight actually is a Manny Pacquiao unanimous decision, sort of like an 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3 type of scenario. I can't really see Manny Pacquiao stopping Yordenis Ugas, because I don't believe Ugas is going to go in there and really force the issue. I think Ugas is going to try and box, and he'll survive the 12 rounds, but I don't think he'll do enough in this one to beat Manny Pacquiao. I've got Manny Pacquiao 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3, unanimous decision. But ultimately, it is still a good fight. It's Manny Pacquiao fighting a top 10 welterweight at 42 years old. Listen, as disappointed as I was yesterday with the news that Errol Spence Jr. pulled out, I'm still going to enjoy this fight at the end of the day. I'm still going to enjoy it. So there we go. Share your thoughts though. Who are you picking to win this fight and how? Have you got Ugas or Pacquiao? Tell me below who are you guys picking in this fight. Peace.